Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. Now, there's a variety of ways to start a fire. You can use a magnifying glass, you can use friction fire, you can use birch bark, you can use a feather stick, you can use paper, you can use the toilet paper tablets, you can use cotton balls and Vaseline. There's 1,001 ways to start a fire, but none of these are my preferred method since I discovered a family of products that I'm going to share with you today. And these also happen to be Canadian-made products, and they're actually going to be sold at CanadianPreparedness.com. So if you are interested in these products, you can go and pick them up there. We also sell to the United States, of course. However, with the shipping costs, it's not really practical for you to go that route. However, if you bundle it with a bug-out roll or a Silky saw, which of course we have some of the best prices on in North America, and all our prices are in Canadian dollars, I should add, then it's indeed worth it. And the guy who makes this stuff lives out in Quebec, in Canada. If this guy had uranium, he would probably soak it in wax, add an accelerant, and find a way to sell it. But whatever method he uses in order to do this works very well. So I'm going to talk about these three products and my experiences with them. Actually, what happened, I had probably several hours worth of footage accumulating over the last 6 or 7 months because I wanted to at some point do this video, and I've been out there doing the testing in the field at home, and unfortunately for the second time in as many months I dropped an external hard drive, only this time there was no going back. There was no retrieving that data. It was going to cost me like $1,500 to retrieve it, so I'm going to have to cut my losses probably on that one. I simply can't afford do that, but I had all that footage on there. So the guy Frank, who runs the company Production Hangar 51, who makes this stuff, sent me a bunch of footage, and that's what I'm going to be showing you mostly today, is these products in use. So as the creator of this product, he's done thorough testing, and as you can see here, in all environments, doesn't matter if it's soaked in water, if it's snowing out, if it's just catching a small spark, it's igniting in those conditions. So it's highly combustible stuff, but it also burns for a long time. Now, there's three main types of products that we're going to be selling at CanadianPreparedness.com, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Now, the first one, of course, is the Fatrope stick. I've done numerous reviews on this item before. I think it was the first one ever to review it. Now, the benefit of the Fatrope stick is that it's among the most versatile because you can break it down into its individual strands in so many different ways. It just affords the greatest amount of possibilities that you could possibly want for a fire starting material. If you wanted long, stringy like fire starter, you can do that. If you wanted to just cut a chunk off of it and grind it up in your hands and make a nice fluff ball of tinder, you can do that. It packs down into a tubular form factor, so it's very compatible with the bug out roll system. In terms of how fast it is to use, I would say it's slightly faster than the next product, but not as fast to deploy as the product we're going to talk about in the end. Now, the next product is the Waxwood stick. So what he does, I don't know how he does it, but he inundates this wood with wax, like totally permeated with wax all the way through, and it's completely dense. Slicing this stuff, it's like cutting butter. It really is a nice thing to use if you're into cutting things with a knife. I mean, if you're an outdoor enthusiast, a bushcrafter, something like that, obviously you know where to find fat wood. But in my experience using fat wood, I've done videos on fat wood before, how to find it. It's great stuff to use. This has much better consistency. It has a lot more density, probably a lot more resin, and probably burns a lot longer than the fat wood would burn. Doesn't really smell as nice, but it is rather odorless, which is a good thing, I suppose. It packs down very light. It's probably among the most dense of all of the product lines. So if you're looking for the most amount of fire in the smallest package, then the Waxwood stick is something that you're going to enjoy. This would be a good gift for a traditionalist, or even just for yourself if you enjoy things like feather sticking. And there's something very meditative about slicing curls of this Waxwood stick In fact, one day I decided, well, I'm going to shave this waxwood stick into a wax tube stick, and that's exactly what I did, as it's shown in this picture here. It's just really fun to do. So if you're, an outdoor hobbyist, then that might be the thing for you. Now, if you're somebody who just wants to make a fire quick and painlessly, you just want something where you can open up a can, pull out some tinder, put it on the fire, and that's what you're going to light, then you're going to want to get the Ultimate Fire Tinder. Really what it is, it's the Fatrope stick broken down into its thousands of strands and really compressed into this can. So you really do get a lot in the can, enough to last for dozens, if stretched properly, probably even 100 fires if you had to use it in a survival situation. Now this will fit just fine in the bug out roll, but anything you can put in the bug out roll or the pack roll that is more tubular is going to obviously roll up a bit better and be a little less bulky. Even though I've put full hatchets into the bug out roll, it really isn't a big deal. It will fit in there just fine. It's the quickest to deploy, but remember, you don't get as much actual fire starting material as you would with the Fatrope, and certainly not as much as you would with the Fatwood stick. Now, for novelty purposes, he also sent me this wax paper, which I don't think he's gonna sell because it weighs a ton and it actually burns a little bit too fast. So it's a great way to get a fire started in a pinch. He sent me this brick of, I think, 500 sheets, which are just inundated with wax. So that would be something good, I guess, to have at the cabin. Although, like I say, we're not really selling that yet. I just really wanted some to play around with, and it works as you would expect. It's paper with wax on it. Anything with wax on it, of course, is going to become a wick for the wax. So the denser the material, the longer it's going to burn, which is why the Waxwood stick, which wood is a little bit denser than the rope, is going to actually burn a little bit longer. And it actually burns for a very long time. You would be surprised at how long this little chunk of wood can last you out there for fire starting. And like I said, as demonstrated here, it competes with the best fire starters on the market. Really as good as gasoline in terms of how hydrophobic it is. The water just beads right off of it. It doesn't mix with the water, so no matter how wet you get this stuff, it's going to continue to burn. And like I say, this guy's very passionate about his stuff that he makes, and it's Canadian made, the best fire starter I've ever used. So that's why I'm choosing to bring it to the CanadianPreparedness.com store. Every item that I have in that store, I want it to be the best in class. And for me, this is the best in class. I've done tests on every possible fire starter there is to use. And this one for me is the best value that you're going to get. So for the Fatrope stick, it's $10 a stick. You can get 3 for $25. The Waxwood stick is $7, or you can get a 3-pack for $18, or a 5-pack for $28. So, the more you buy, the better deal you get. And the Ultimate Fire Tinder is $12, all in Canadian dollars. So do the math, subtract 25 to 30% for American dollars. And I should say all of the prices on my website are in Canadian dollars. I get 1,000 questions a week about the pricing. If you do purchase something from the store, you're gonna see it as Canadian dollar amounts, but your credit card company will convert that to US dollars. I've had 1,000 orders from the United States, and they've all ended positively. I haven't had one issue except people messaging me frantically at the beginning saying, why isn't this converted yet? Then of course waits 24 hours and it gets converted. So our prices are actually quite reasonable on this stuff. I also want to let you know we're going to be bringing Mountain House to the store, because that's the top of the hop in terms of freeze-dried food. Now, for freeze-dried food, I may actually try to introduce a more cost-effective option, because Mountain House can be a little pricey. I mean, because it tastes so good and the way they make it, it's one of the only companies to make food, freeze-dried food, and pre-cook the food as a meal instead of just putting all the individual ingredients into a bag and vacuum sealing it and selling it to you. They actually cook the food beforehand as a meal, which is why it tastes so good when you rehydrate it. But again, I want everything at the store to be top drawer stuff. So that's what you're going to get with these Waxwood sticks. So if you want one of the most high performance fire starting materials that's available right now, go check out CanadianPreparedness.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned. I've been aggressively working on this electromagnetic pulse video, which the more I study it, the more I realize how important it is that I bring this video to the masses, because it's very hard to get an objective viewpoint on these things this day and age with all of the politicking that goes into these talking points about SHTF. This video is going to be pure facts ado with geomagnetic storms and the threats of electromagnetic pulse on our power grid. So stay tuned for that. This is very important stuff, and this very well may be the thing that actually causes SHTF. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.